My topic is heat flow data in Italy, review and new determinations. So my presentation focused on the heat flow map of Italy, the heat flow that nowadays is representative of the distribution and variation of heat flow at the national scale. And then I will present you the work in progress that me, together with other colleagues, Italian colleagues from different universities, we are conducting in order to improve the temperature database, and then to improve a new heat flow map based on the updated temperature database. Then I will show you some application of new determination of heat flow data across the Apennine chain. Useful also to unravel the lithospheric setting of this sector of Italian peninsula. And as a final topic, I will show you some new determination of temperature profile coming from the result of European project, the Scramble project, which focused on a very important geothermal area in Italy, so the Larderello geothermal field. So this is the available heat flow map of Italian territory. This map was published in 2001 and is the only heat flow map available that cover the whole Italian peninsula. These come from the processing of several thousand of deep exploration well, coming from both from the geothermal exploration and oil and gas exploration. What we can see from this picture is that Italian territory is characterized in its western side by strong heat flow anomaly with heat flow values that are greater than 100 milliwatt per square meter. And moving across the Italian peninsula, we have some minima in correspondence of Apennine chain, and the eastern part of Italian peninsula is characterized by lower heat flow value of the order of 50 to 60 milliwatt per square meter. And we can see also that the main heat flow anomalies are related to the magmatic process occurred in the western side of peninsula, related to the opening of the Tyrrhenian basin and the crustal extension that followed the orogenesis of the Apennine chain. So in the upper right corners of this slide, we can see the tectonic setting of the southern Apennine. So basically, we have the eastern part of Italy that it's composed by the Apulian plate, where we can recognize, thanks to the drilling of deep wells, a sequence of sediments, basically terregion silicoclastic sediments deposited during the Plio-Quaternary period. And the Apulian platform is composed by a thick carbonatic sequence of carbonatic composition. The carbonatic platform is a very thick layer. The maximum thickness can reach 7 kilometers. And as it happened worldwide, carbonatic rocks can host also geothermal reservoir due to their good hydraulic properties. The Apulian platform then deepens from east to west below another thick sequence of carbonatic origin related to the Apennine carbonatic platform that overthrust the Apulian one from west to the east. Due to the subduction process, the opening of the Tyrrhenian basin and the stretching of the crust in the Tyrrhenian side here is related to the back arc tectonic system. So what we can see about the heat flow distribution along the Italian peninsula is that we have a very strong lateral contrast from the western and the eastern side of Italy. For example, here I show you two sections. One that cross the Tuscany and in the Adriatic sector. The total length of this section is about 230 kilometers. And the available deep well that align along this section show that we have a very strong lateral change in the thermal setting. The temperature, for example, at 4 kilometer depth, decrease from more than 350 Celsius degree in the western side in Tuscany to 100 degree in the Adriatic sector. So we have a temperature difference high as well as 340 Celsius degree, moving in a very short distance. The same setting occur moving southward when we analyze the temperature profile of deep wells moving from the Phlegrean field sector to the Apulian sector here. So now with the aim to update the heat flow distribution in Italy, we are working on collecting, updating, and correcting the temperature data from deep exploration wells. Temperature data are the basic information in order to evaluate the geothermal gradient and following to evaluate the heat flow, let know the thermal conductivity of rocks drilled by the wells. So in Italy, basically, we have three kind of temperature data. And due to the different conditions under which the temperature are measured, and in particular the purposes for which they are used, the data set is composed by heterogeneous data with different degree of accuracy. So from deep exploration wells drilled for oil and gas exploration, basically we have bottom hole temperature. So they are temperature that are measured during the geophysical log operations, but the time at which the temperature they are measured don't correspond to the static condition of the well. So these data are perturbed, are affected by the cooling effect of the drilling and drilling mud circulation. Another kind of data coming from oil and gas well are the DST data. So the temperature data measured during the drill stem test. So they are temperature which refer to the temperature of the fluid produced from the productive intervals drilled by the well. So due to the purpose of this data, DST temperature are considered representative of the deep thermal state because we assume that the produced fluid are in thermal equilibrium with the hosting rocks. The first kind of temperature data available in Italy are the temperature logs measured usually in the geothermal wells. Due to the purpose of the geothermal exploration, this data correspond to the static condition as these data are acquired after a long time after the end of drilling operation. So the first thing to do in order to update the temperature database is the temperature correction. So bottom hole temperature don't reflect the thermal condition of the underground, but they reflect the thermal condition of the drilling mud. So this data require correction in order to evaluate the static bottom hole temperature. When we are lucky and we have the opportunity to analyze the time temperature series, we can apply the classical method of temperature correction based on the line source model. This model assumes that the mud circulation acts as a heat sink, and when we have at the same depth several temperature measured at increasing shutting time, we can extrapolate the equilibrium temperature. And here I display some example of the application of this method. But time temperature series are not always available. Our database is composed by a lot of single BHT temperature with no shut-in time, but they are single measurement, so we cannot treat this data as the time temperature series. So the Horner method, sorry, I come back. The Horner method or the line source model permit to evaluate the static bottom hole temperature as the intercept on the z-axis, and the slope of the regression line is a function of the heating rate Q divided by the thermal conductivity of the mud rock system. So basically, we can calibrate a correction formula that based on the correlation between the Horner slope and the depth. So employing the Horner slope coming from the analysis of the time temperature series, we can evaluate by a simple polynomial regression of second order the trend of the Horner slope as function of depth, no? And then apply this kind of correction to all the single bottom hole temperature with no circulation time and shut-in time. To validate this kind of correction, which is empirical, it's calibrated on our study area, we compare the static temperature obtained by the application of the Horner method and the same dataset corrected by the depth time empirical correction method. And in this graph, we can see that the difference between the Horner and the empirical approach decrease when the shut-in time increase. The correction the correction work well, and the difference between the Horner temperature and the empirically corrected ones, the average difference is close to the zero. So we can say that this correction formula don't overestimate or underestimate systemically the correction temperature. And in particular, when we analyze the difference as function of the shut-in time, we can say that for shut-in time greater than 8 hours, the difference is lower than the 10%. So we calibrated and obtained good correction formula, which enable us also to correct a large amount of single DHT data available in our dataset. Further validation based on the comparison between the geothermal gradient highlighted by DST data, so temperature coming from the productive layer in different oil and gas field all around the Italian peninsula. The DST data compared, or better, the bottom hole temperature compared with the DST data highlight the same trend. So we can affirm that our empirical correction work well. So the single DHT data corrected by the empirical formula agree in terms of geothermal gradient with the temperature distribution constrained by DST data. So when we have temperature data and lithostratigraphic information from the deep wells, now we can evaluate the heat flow. In this slide, I show you an approach of the heat flow estimation along a section across the central Apennine, where the heat flow is obtained by an optimization procedure which minimize the difference between the computed geotherm and the available temperature data. This application refer to this cluster of boreal. Here we are in the Latium region, where positive heat flow anomaly was recognized. And the procedure include the estimation of the main lithothermal unit, the sediments, upper crust, lower crust, and lithospheric mantle, at which we assign given thermal conductivity data. And in this approach, we account for the effect of the temperature on the thermal conductivity of rocks, accounting for both the photonic and phonic processes. So basically, when we go deep in the lithospheric mantle, we take into account also of the radiative effect of the thermal conductivity. So for this cluster, we obtain a surface heat flow above 90 milliwatt per square meter, accounting for the heat production due to the radioactive element, the heat flow at the base of the crust, at the crust mantle boundary decrease, and we obtain heat flow value at the more of about 50 milliwatt square meter. And for this sector, we also evaluate the lithospheric thickness. In particular, we apply the definition of the thermal lithosphere, and we evaluate the lithospheric thickness as the depth at which the conductive geotherm intersect the mantle adiabatic temperature profile. For this sector, we obtain a thermal lithosphere with a thickness of about 50 kilometers. This is in agreement with the tectonic setting of this area, which has been affected by lithospheric stretching. So here the asthenosphere is shallower than normal area. And in this area, we also have a surface manifestation from both from the geothermal point of view and the magmatic point of view. When we move eastward in the central Apennine, we can see that the thermal setting change, and in particular in this sector of Apennine, we obtain a very low heat flow value and estimation of the thermal lithosphere greater than 140 kilometers. When we move eastward in the Adriatic sector, we observe a little increase of the temperature distribution. So the heat flow increase to about 50 milliwatt per meter. And also the lithospheric thickness decrease from 140 kilometers in the central Apennine to 100 kilometers in the Adriatic sector. So this setting of the thermal lithospheric structure is in agreement with recent, very recent work from Rapisi et al. 2022 that evaluate the slab geometry of the central Mediterranean area, employing a 3D P-wave tomography. So basically they employed a data set of about 350 events recorded in about 100 seismic stations, and obtained the variation in this wide area of P-wave, and also tried to delineate, to draw the slab geometries. So basically in red, we can see the geometry of the Adriatic slab, and the main geothermal area set at the western side of the slab. No? Here we fall the very famous Larderello geothermal field. So the Larderello geothermal field developed in a back-arc tectonic setting. Here is the position of this cross section. So we have a number of geothermal wells that are productive and nowadays produce geothermal energy. And the deep crustal setting of the Larderello geothermal field can be analyzed also studying the granite, the magmatic processes occurred in the past and that actually outcrop in the Elba Island. So Elba Island represent a geothermal, old geothermal system, and the processes that drove the emplacement of the granite in the Elba Island are supposed the same that occur nowadays below the Larderello geothermal system at a very great depth. So thanks to the project image and the scramble, we was able to study the magmatic process that drove the emplacement of the granite. Here we have a few example of granite coming from Elba Island. And here we have the information available from the deep exploration well in Larderello area, where few drilling tap the granite at depth greater than 4 kilometer depth, and studying from the petrographic point of view the granite, we are able to evaluate the condition, the thermal condition at which the granite emplaced at this depth. The temperature of emplacement is between 700 to 900 Celsius degree. In the framework of the Scramble project, we select a well, the Venelle 2 well, where seismic horizon is shallower. So basically, this is the heat flow map of Larderello area. Larderello area is characterized by a very high heat flow anomaly with heat flow value greater than 200 or 300 milliwatt per square meter. In this map, we can see also in map the boreholes that drilled granite and the age of the granite. Or in the circle represent the boreal. The green circle represent the boreholes that drilled the thermo-metamorphic rocks. So due to the thermo-metamorphic processes, we can hypothesize that the granite are very close to the explored depth. So in Larderello area, the seismic exploration highlight the occurrence at depth of strong reflector. No, it was named K horizon. And another seismic reflector occur somewhere. It is named H horizon. And during exploration, the industry basically found a relationship between the occurrence of the H horizon and productive fracture zone. This is an example coming from the Monteverdi area. And here is the another example from Sasso Pisano area and Sesta area here in the northern part of the Larderello geothermal field. Basically, any drilling and in close to the K horizon. So actually, the interpretation of this seismic horizon is not very clear. So thanks to the Descramble project, was selected a boreal, the Venelle 2 well, and this well was deepened down to reach the K horizon. So we have a different interpretation of this seismic horizon. Some researchers suppose the K horizon mimic the shape of a recent granite. Other researchers suppose the seismic horizon correspond to the brittle ductile transition. And also there is a possibility that this reflector can represent a deep reservoir hosting fluid in supercritical condition. So, in order to answer this question, a heavy empirical approach was adopted in the framework of the Scramble project, and the Venelle 2 well was deepened in order to reach the seismic horizon. Here we can see a seismic line with the interpretation of the K marker. And from the migration from two-way time to depth, the Venelle 2 well set in correspondence of a structural height of the K marker. So in black, we can see here the old path of the Venelle 2 well, and in the dotted line, the new trajectory planned within the Scramble project. As I said, the Venelle 2 was drilled previously than the project in 2006, and some temperature data were available. And the temperature data constrain a geothermal gradient of about 100 Celsius degree per kilometer. So during the drilling operation, the boreal was deepened, temperature measurement were taken during the drilling stop, and extrapolation of the time temperature series gave us temperature of about 390 degree at 2.5 kilometer depth. This temperature data is in agreement with the geothermal gradient previously constrained. This geothermal gradient basically is controlled by its conduction. So we can say that in this level, we don't have permeability. So during the deepening of the well at about 2.8 kilometer depth, temperature measurement was taken, and a maximum temperature of 500 Celsius degree was measured. And this temperature is not representative of the static temperature of the formation due to two main reasons. First of all, the temperature was taken during the thermal recovery of the well, so the boreal was not in thermal equilibrium, but due to the very high temperature, the measurement were out of scale of the tool. The tool is the caster. So in order to constrain better the measured temperature, another approach was employed. In particular, was tested a thermosensitive paint. Due to the approach, we don't have a very constrained temperature, but also in this case, the temperature range fall within the previous temperature. So we are in a layer characterized by a very high temperature of about 500, 600 Celsius degree. In order to try, so basically, when we plot the temperature data in a simple temperature depth graph, we can see that from main geothermal gradient of about 100 Celsius degree per kilometer, measured down to 2.5 kilometer. At 2.8 kilometer, we have a abrupt increase of temperature, and the geothermal gradient increase to more than 300 Celsius degree per kilometer. In this well was also tested another technique able to estimate very high temperature. In particular, the technique based on the synthetic fluid inclusion. So the synthetic fluid inclusion give us temperature comprised by 500 and 515 Celsius degree. So by plotting all the available temperature data, we can see that the change of the temperature gradient is confirmed by several approaches. So also within the project was developed a tool, a temperature logger, able to measure temperature data in high temperature environment. At the end of the drilling, the tool was put down in the boreal, and the temperature log is not representative of the static condition, because the temperature log was performed a few days after the end of the drilling operation, but also the geophysical log highlighted and confirmed the increase of the temperature gradient at the bottom, close to the bottom hole of the well. So, few observations. During before the project, a temperature of about 450 degrees was expected. This estimate underestimated the real temperature, which is high as 510 Celsius degree. The temperature data show an increase of the thermal gradient in the deeper part of the well from 100 Celsius degree per kilometer to 300 Celsius degree per kilometer, and this change cannot be due to the change of the thermal conductivity of the rocks. So, how to explain this abrupt increase of the thermal gradient? So, in order to try to answer this question, we apply a numerical modeling approach. First of all, we set a model for Pluton emplacement. So basically, we reconstruct the geometries of the granite, the old granite. There's old granite, the shape of this body is constrained by information coming from the deep wells. So the shape of the granite body that is actually cooled is constrained by the occurrence of granite in the wells, or the occurrence of the thermometamorphic aureola in the hosting rocks. We suppose that the K horizon can represent recent intrusion. So we hypothesize that this seismic marker mimic the shape of a recent granite at depth ranging from 4 to 5.5 kilometer depth. Another geometry that we included in the construction of the geometric model is the middle crustal magmatic chamber that is highlighted by P-wave tomography. So this low velocity body is set at depth greater than 10 kilometer depth. So basically, This is the geometry we used to solve the thermal model, the Pliocene granite, the recent granite, which follow the shape of the K horizon, and a middle crustal low velocity body, which correspond to the main magmatic chamber of this area. So we solve the numerical model by including the heat source, the magmatic heat source, and we define the temporal function in order to turn on and turn off the different heat sources. And we evaluate the evolution of the temperature profile by using both the temperature data coming from Venelle 2 well and coming from a near well, the San Pompeo 2 well. So after the simulation, we can say, yes, we can say that the evidence of the change of the thermal gradient measured along the Venelle 2 well can be explained by the occurrence of a very recent magmatic event. Basically, the emplacement age of this recent granite is of the order of 10 to 15,000 year old. And actually, the thermal wave is moving upward. So basically, at the surface, we are not able to measure the thermal effect of this very recent intrusion. And we are able to observe the thermal effect only by drilling borehole close to the recent magmatic bodies. So basically, finally, the Scramble project helped us to better understand the thermal setting and the origin of the Larderello geothermal field, which is composed by a shallow reservoir hosted in the carbonatic rocks of Mesozoic age, and a deep reservoir hosted within the metamorphic basement. The K horizon can correspond to the seismic signal of a very recent granite, which nowadays is giving to the uppermost part of the Larderello geothermal system the heat that we can use for geothermal energy production. So thank you for your attention. If there are questions, I'm available.